Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. We are buzzing as always. Great to be alive in the summertime. Everyone's a little happier, the sun's shining. But folks, we are in this boat together. A couple weeks ago, we were in a nice, lovely yacht. Now we're back in a tin boat. And if we keep on this trend, we are going to be in a kayak or maybe a paddleboard in a couple weeks. We're all poor right now. Stay poor together. Hopefully the market turns and we'll get rich again. But it is what it is. C'est la vie. Let's jump into it. Super pumped to have Matthijs de Vries on the podcast today, the CEO and founder of Nuklai. He is a serial entrepreneur with a passion for blockchain tech, as well as its role in the future of data and AI. He is currently building the collaborative smart data ecosystem and decentralized data infrastructure provider, Nuklai. With extensive experience in DeFi and Web3, Matthijs is also one of the co-founders of tokenization infrastructure expert Nexera and DeFi trading strategy software provider Nuant, and a strategic advisor for the smart wallet project Brillion. Super pumped to have you on, Matthijs. Welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having me, first of all, and for the big intro. Lovely to be here, doing amazing. I hope everyone who's listening in is doing amazing as well. I mean, market conditions are maybe not the best, but if I open my X feed, I see so much FUD going around, so much
doomsday.
Negative. Exactly. But I always tend to smile a little bit when I see this. First I get sucked in and you get this kind of negative feelings as well. But then I realized wait a minute, there's that moment when we know it cannot get worse.
Yeah.
Almost cannot get worse from this. The reversal has to be near.
Do you have any idea? And again, shitty question on my end here. No one truly has an idea. But if you were a betting man, what would be the catalyst for this little chop downwards that we've had, this little slowdown period?
I mean, it's priced in fear of empty GOX. It's priced in fear of Germany selling Bitcoins. It's priced in fear that Biden might be replaced with a better candidate that is more anti-crypto than the Republican Party. So it's all this kind of things that may happen in the future that are going to be priced in right now. And what I understood is that MTGOX did a test transaction of 0.8% of the Bitcoins that they're going to pay back.
Yeah.
And that triggered a lot of panic and fear.
Yeah, it's tough. I wish Germany and Mt. Gox wasn't selling off on the same time. That'd be nice, eh? If we could somehow collab together and be because in TradFi, that shit happens all the time. The big boys, the people behind the curtains, the people behind the doors in TradFi, really, really running the shows. I feel like you don't see sell-offs in cohesion together too often. It's pretty rare. But then in crypto, it's we don't really have the men and women behind the curtains to tell everyone what to do. Maybe I'm way off there, but that's just sort of how I feel about it.
I think yes and no. I think there is a lot of collaboration, a lot of powerful people in the Web3 industry that definitely work together in order to orchestrate things together. But when it comes to Germany and Mt. Gox, there is absolutely no way that they're working together in order to have a healthy sell-off of Bitcoin. And actually, Mt. Gox is not selling Bitcoins. They're just distributing them to the ones that claim on them, right?
Right.
And I do think it's probably for the best that these things happen together. Rip the band-aid off, let it hurt now, and then we can move on. Because if this gets dragged out for the next few months, we will never recover in that time, right?
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a good point. Let's jump into you here for a sec. Set the table for us. How'd you get into crypto? Tell us a little bit about your past before crypto. Why are you such a data guy? Not just sort of centralized data, but decentralized data. Big AI guy as well. You guys are building quite the ecosystem, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of behind the tech stuff. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into crypto.
Yeah, of course. So I've always been into tech. I was a software developer when I was around 11 years old. Was doing this professionally when I was 15. and had a couple of small businesses along the way. Tried software development in many different industries, many different technologies that I've been using, until somewhere in my early 20s, I realized that I felt like a calling to be a manager, to be responsible for a team of software developers. So I joined a large enterprise. I steered a team of the software developers. Then that team grew. It became a department, several departments, business units, etc. Until after 9 years, I was like, I don't want to be part of an enterprise anymore. I really want to go to a smaller companies, preferably a startup, and have like a wide array of responsibilities instead of just only have the focus on software development. So I joined a startup that was working on several products around AI and other things. And I had many different responsibilities there, like project management as a product owner, even a little bit of software development. I was completely responsible for new business development as well. And because of that specific responsibility, I got in touch with a couple of clients that were trying to do some innovation on their service offering. And in one of these conversations I had with these clients, I said, well, we want to use blockchain. And that was back in 2016. So that was very early, even for smart contracts, right? It was super early. So I knew about Bitcoin. I really knew about Bitcoin for a while, but I never seriously got into it. Like it was it was too abstract for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, how would you use blockchain for this? I didn't really understand. And the term smart contract came. So I did my research, was a smart contract, discovered Ethereum, and I was like, wow, this is insane. I never thought that this is an option. I thought it was just transfer of value and that's it. And this is completely disrupting the whole notary business and whatever else kind of potential it has. So I dig deeper, became part of communities already, started investing myself. Like I became completely obsessed with everything decentralized and on-chain. And at some point, I met a lot of people in those different communities, saw also the ICO boom coming, the ICO boom failing, and everything collapsing in early 2018. And with someone that I met, which our thoughts really resonated with each other. We discussed the problems that we saw, the kind of solutions that we would envision to be implemented in order to mitigate these problems. And we decided, let's meet up. Like he was in France, I was in the Netherlands, and we met up halfway in Belgium, in Brussels, and that's when we started sketching like an idea of a business. And like a couple of weeks later, we incorporated the business and we started building. And that was in early 2018. So we've been that's how I got into the industry, and for quite a while already, 6 years. Man. Wow.
What a story. That's wild. Before we get into Nuklai, you are one of the few people who are actually an expert on AI, crypto, blockchain, data. We've heard a lot of hot takes and some sort of lukewarm takes, and definitely some cold takes in regards to how blockchain and crypto and AI will work together in the future. A lot of really cool things about blockchain that allow sort of more compatibility, obviously more decentralization, and just a little more power when it comes to powering LLMs, which are sort of the main use case of AI at the moment. Again, before we get into Nuklai, I'd love if you could just go on a nice big spiel, sort of give us your thesis on how blockchain and AI will work together in the future.
Absolutely, love to. Yeah. So the thing is that this is exactly the problem. It's the most popular use case of AI is LLMs. So a lot of use cases are around LLMs, and that comes with a misconception, like that LLMs is necessarily AI and that's it. So the importance of AI and blockchain work together is in the fact that AI needs accountability, it needs traceability. This is what we can bring with blockchain. If we speak about completely decentralized AI, it's going to be very, very, very hard. There are a lot of caveats with AI model training, with the data, which is massive amounts of data that you cannot completely decentralize. It's just impossible, at least not now with the storage options that we have. Like you mentioned that you need to completely decentralize in the sense like Bitcoin is decentralized, petabytes of data. It's not going to happen. So decentralized AI, for me, it's around accountability, traceability, and fair reward mechanisms. Like if you look at LLM specifically, for example, OpenAI with ChatGPT, they were sued by New York Times because they used
all their articles, all their data. Yeah.
Exactly. So all these articles were scraped. And if you would leverage blockchain technology, if you put that accountability, you put that traceability, and you embed the reward mechanism on chain so that when something is used, you have to pay for it. And that payment has to go to the source of that data. So this is where I see decentralized AI to add value to AI and add value to the world of data or the data economy as a whole, but not necessarily to build, a better LLM, because
Gotcha.
AI is more than LLM. Like a lot of AI is already around us, but could be perceived as pretty boring. Like a lot of enterprises that work with AI is just for supply chain optimization or something like that, right? It's not something that we see, but it's something that generates revenue for them or saves a lot of costs, which is also very important.
Good point there. So just to sort of sum up that spiel, one of the ways the crypto and blockchain can really amplify and make AI more efficient is when an LLM, for example, is pulling data from your source that, every time it pulls it, or maybe once a month, whatever, but you can sort of pay that data provider, whether it's micropayments or sort of monthly payments, in a very quick, easy fashion. It's all on chain. Everyone can see there's no discrepancies. That's sort of one super easy, low-hanging fruit way.
Exactly. This is exactly right. And for LLMs specifically, you have a lot of instances where LLMs are hallucinating their answers. They're hallucinating details in their answers, right? So if you have some amount of traceability, like this answer was shaped because of these data sources, and then you can click on them and you can find, like, is that correct? Where was this answer based on? So this has a lot of important implications for use in governments or for use in important environments where hallucinations could be very, very risky. That's why LLMs are not taking off maybe as we thought they would or could yet.
Gotcha. Very interesting. I'm sure we'll keep going on AI, but one more AI specific question here that has nothing to do with crypto. Agents, how far away are we? We had Humayun Sheikh on the podcast, founder of Fetch.ai. That was an incredible episode. He sort of blew my mind about agents a lot, and that's when I really went down the deep rabbit hole. And just for the listeners at home, an example of an agent would be, let's say I want to book a flight and I want to go see Matthijs in the Netherlands. I want to go meet, I don't know if you're in Amsterdam or not, but let's say Amsterdam. I want to book a flight to Amsterdam. Instead of me going on Skyscanner or Google Flights, or I'm an Air Canada guy and use Air Canada, whatever, I could literally go to my agent. It already has my credit card info. It already has my passport. And I can say, book a flight between these dates and make sure the price is between this range. I'm a window seat guy. Give me a window seat here. Better yet, throw me in business class or first, blah, blah, blah. And it will book it right away. That's sort of an agent that I see, which is incredible. Or another agent could be one that literally reads all your emails, figures out how you respond to emails, and already has an email response ready for you every single time. And instead of actually thinking of an email response, you literally just click send or make very quick edits/changes. Two just very brief examples. But Matthijs, how far away from AI agents are we? Because that's something that I can't wait for.
I mean, AI agents are already operational. I think one of the
good ones,
good ones. Like, this is the thing. Like, this is why we need more standardization across all the kind of different industries. Because in order to make an agent book a ticket, you'll need to have access to some kind of API.
Exactly.
So it needs to understand that API. In order to understand that API, you will probably need to create a connector or something like that. But the cool thing is, and we're not there yet, but we could be there rather quickly, is that if there is API documentation out there, the agent can be tasked, like, okay, I want to book a flight. Okay, I found a website. I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to read documentation, or I need to create a connector to an API. So I will build this myself as an agent, or it will dispatch it to another agent. Because I see agents as kind of a team that you can dispatch a task to, and then that agent can spawn different other agents and give them additional tasks. Like, it will come up like with subtasks, right? And you can go really, really, really deep there in order to come up with all kinds of integrations that are just in time, like they were not prepared. So now we're very depending on all the prepared use cases. So on a use case by use case basis, we can go through them rather perfectly. But now because of every use case that needs to be integrated individually, you have a lot of fragmentation. You will need to go to this platform to use an AI agent system for booking flight tickets, this one for ordering food, and that fragmentation is really annoying. So we need more standardization, a next layer of intelligence or prompting in order to make them able to build the integrations themselves as they go. And I'm sure, like I thought we were not as far with LLM technology yet. Early last year, was it early last year or the year before that? Time flies so fast.
2022, I think. 2020 last year. That is when everything sort of kicked off.
Exactly, yeah. But yet here we are. So it might be closer than we think.
Yeah. Well said. I don't know about you, but that's something I can't wait for. And then there's the whole subject of like, you know, by 2030, are we going to have AGI? When that's the case, what happens to everyone's jobs? Like and then by 2035, what if we have robots? It's shit's going to be spooky. I think there's going to be a premium. I mean, there already is a premium, but I think content and creators and anyone sort of in the creative realm in which AI can do, but not put that personalized touch on it. I think that will be ever more important, even more so than it is today. And it's already hella important. I mean, you know, content creators are literally some of the most powerful people on the planet now. So
100%, especially with music and art, 100% agree. Yeah. And it could be a threat, but it could be opportunity for art and music, but also for humanity.
Yeah.
But I think we are really far from that. Like it's not going to be something in the next few years, but as humanity collectively, we can make a choice to see it as an opportunity and to take it as an opportunity, or let it just come out as a threat and let it hurt us in the sense of jobs and stuff like that, right?
Definitely.
But even for like artists, definitely there is a big opportunity out there because, you know, you already can spot like what's AI, right?
Yeah.
With content. So there's going to be a massive hunger for real art. You know, so that's the opportunity for sure.
100%. Well said there. Let's jump into Nuklai here. Give us a brief overview of Nuklai. I love how you guys, you know, power AI and LLMs through smart data. Give us the elevator pitch and then we'll get into the fun stuff here.
Yeah, so we're building infrastructure for everything around data. Because if you look back at what really makes an AI, it's data. Without data, I cannot do anything. And data is all around us. We generate it while just going through a day in our lives by using our phones, but even by using public transport, booking a taxi, ordering food. Like we generate data so much. And that data is used for all kinds of things, including AI model training. And the problem with data right now is that it's super, super fragmented. It's a lot of different formats, a lot of different sources. It's very isolated often. It's only used for one specific use case. And then that data is forever like not necessary anymore. And we envision a future where that data needs to be all interoperable and different industries, different organizations can collaborate on top of that data, and the individuals that generate the data are fairly rewarded for that. So we create infrastructure to accommodate all of these things. And when it comes to empowering AI, like what does that even mean? Is because we bring all that data together in a way that's interoperable, we provide the means and the tools to heavily contextualize this, we give incentivization to bring in data, you suddenly have an ecosystem where you can build an AI on top of that wealth of high quality data, instead of like now scraping everything by and hope for the best. So that's how we empower the next generation of AI. We don't build an AI ourselves, we build infrastructure for builders that want to build AI really for the next generation of AIs. But it can be an LLM, it can be for supply chain optimization or anything else.
Very cool. I want to jump into the problem for a second. When I was doing research for the show, I love how you and your team always sort of go through the problem of fragmented data and why it's so, pardon my French, fucked right now, and how siloed and fragmented data really affects almost everyone, but more so enterprises who really have so much data and need that data sharing done quick, easily, and efficiently. So what is the problem with fragmented data, and how are you guys sort of, you know, working on that solution to fix it?
So it's really simple. Fragmented data lead to very lengthy processes, which equals to very costly processes in order to make the data interoperable. If we look at typically enterprises, but many organizations, also government, semi-government, that exist already for a couple of decades. They collect a lot of data over these decades. They store it in different sources, in different formats. And now we are in the age of AI. And this enterprise is like, okay, I want to do something with AI, so I need to bring in my data. But that data is like, it's a mix of everything. So they need to first build a lot of connectors, a lot of expensive data pipelines. They have to deploy new infrastructure. And if they want it together with another organization, they have to build connectors between them. And if they want to do it together with a competitor, they don't want to refill the data together, but maybe they know that, they need to work together in order to both be able to survive if they face disruption in the industries. They need to have, a private computing environment. So all of these equals to a lot of cost. So if you really boil down to what problem we are solving, is we are saving time and money for organizations in order to innovate on their data.
That's, again, super, super interesting. And folks, we got to take a quick break. And when we get back, we will jump into successful data collaboration initiatives, some data sharing insights, and we'll get into some fun stuff and some hot takes as well. But until then, huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends and sponsors of the CryptoNews.com podcast. Prime XBT offers a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. You can use the promo code CryptoNews50 to take advantage of this offer and receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that is CryptoNews50 to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. And now back to the show with Matthijs. Could you share some of the insights, some of your learnings perhaps? I know you can't give us all the secret sauce, but you guys have worked with some of the best companies in the world. You guys have really implemented data solutions for them, taking care of their fragmented data, which we just discussed and is a massive problem. What have you guys learned so far? Like anything that sort of caught you off guard? I know you'd say it's very simple. I mean, for someone like me, I would be beyond lost here. But for you and your team who are data experts, I mean, for you guys, it seems pretty darn easy. What have you guys learned with helping over these 50 plus enterprises?
So I think, for example, what is really common is that a lot of organizations focus on the end goal, like building an AI. And they land on a proof of concept that's tied together with all these different kind of data sources, and they cannot bring it to the next level because they don't have their data really in order. And no one is really focusing on like, okay, let's see, let's take a few steps back, let's look at the data and let's make it, workable. And there's a much bigger hunger for the solution that we offer than we thought initially, because we are talking about AI. But data is, of course, used for many other things than AI. Data is used when your flight is delayed and a hotel needs to be booked, and it's going to be booked by the airline. Like, this is not all going to be done manually. This is going to go through a system of connected APIs. Yeah. So data collaboration, data sharing, and data monetization is already happening all around us, but it's not really greatly facilitated. And data is always super underrated, and solutions are always very expensive and lead to more fragmentation, even in some cases. So our learnings are that the problem is much bigger than we thought, and the data solutions are heavily underrated at the moment.
Well, one point I want to jump into, and you've talked about this on Twitter, and you have a great Twitter, by the way, but a tweet from a couple of weeks ago, it's a little meme you have, and it's just like when everyone is building AIs and then sell data, and you have sort of you guys with your shovels and, the money, and it's the Nuklai logo, and then you have Meta, you have Google, and of course you have OpenAI. Are these guys just like what's their long-term play here with building all this? Because a lot of them are printing money to the extent everyone thought they would right now. I know revenue. I think OpenAI just sort of released their Q2 statements, or maybe it was Q1. I don't know how big the lag is, but still growing almost 2x, year over year revenue, which is massive. And, that'll definitely move the needle. But what are these guys doing with their data? Are they just selling it off? Like, can they even sell it off? What's their long-term play here?
So absolutely not. Bear some exceptions. Like these guys sit on huge monopolies of data, especially the giants like Google and Meta. And in a way, they're monetizing it, but in different ways that will first come to mind. Like you are the monetization of their data, right? But they're not going to sell this data to third parties necessarily, because why would they? It's a gold mine. The products completely rely on them. And this is also what we want to break through, is to democratize data. So if we talk about bringing all of this data to Nuklai, we're not talking about Nuklai will now be the owner of that data. And Nuklai is a network. That means collectively, all the participants of the network, those are owners of the data, meaning that no one really is an owner of that data. And I think this is a really important step forward in order to democratize access to data, to see data more as something that we need to live, like oxygen, instead of something that we can speculate on, like oil. And of course, monetization and speculation is always going to be a part of it, but unsilo it, unmonopoly it, that's going to be a really big deal. That's not necessarily going to remove the giants like OpenAI and Google and Meta from their thrones, but it's going to level the playing field a little bit more.
Interesting. So what does the future of the data economy look like in your eyes then? If that's sort of the direction in which you think things are going, are the big dogs still going to have such a stranglehold on the market? Is it going to be similar to Web2 where you sort of have FANG back in the day? I mean, there's new FANGs. I think Netflix is gone. Obviously, NVIDIA sort of took the N in that FANG. But is it going to be the sort of the new FANG companies who run the show, who have all the data, who have all the data collaboration and sharing and selling insights? Is blockchain going to have a big role in that? What does the future of the data economy look like in your eyes?
There will always be big players, and they will always have a role. And big players will have a role because they improve people's life. Data is just data. And leveraging that data, giving utility to it in a way that improves people's lives, this is what's eventually going to generate money. So giants will probably rather, in years down the road, bank and focus on that instead of just collecting that data. Because also with new legislation in the EU, for example, around data with DORA and GDPR, you just don't have that many options anymore as a company to fully rely on just data. But that doesn't mean that there will be giants leveraging that data. There definitely will be.
Yeah, I guess that's never going to change.
Just be the smartest in the room, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. A couple more questions. We're getting a little tight for time. Other areas of crypto. In your Twitter bio, it says that you are a big RWA guy as well. This is a sort of trendy topic that a lot of people are pretty horny on right now. Why RWA? And before you go, I'll sort of just jump in and interject here. I think, yes, it has a future, but I think we're so far away from that. I think there's sort of other things that can be tokenized that aren't really, they are sort of real world assets, but more things like currencies and payments that are sort of a lot better at tokenizing than real world assets. Why does the RWA sector get you going right now?
Yeah, actually for one really important reason. And was always dabbling with the idea of tokenizing real world assets. But it really became extra important for me with the Terra Luna collapse and all the big lending protocols that saw collapse after that tool, because we had all this protocol that brought yield, but it was unclear where the yield was coming from. So that means essentially that yield, it's you. So that is unsustainable. And the DeFi industry was booming until it wasn't. And then it was completely collapsing and absolutely not sustainable anymore. Protocols existed because they interacted with another protocol, not because they had any connection with the real world use case. So that means that you have kind of these dependencies. It just looks like everything is solving, one big problem, but in the end, they're just, around feeding volume and TVL and Ethereum network. I put it really simple here. So what I really wanted to see is a sustainable yield. A sustainable yield is coming from assets that you can touch, that you can see, that you can prove that exists somewhere, either as a certificate or as something that really has a shape and a mass and existence. And tokenization of real world assets can bring the sustainability to the industry. And bringing doesn't equal replace, right? It doesn't mean that if you do this, you cannot do the other. Like both can coexist, and they can actually enhance each other, bring liquidity to real world assets through like pure DeFi protocols. Yeah. But bringing some actual touchable physical assets or real world assets into or on-chain that will eventually make the whole industry just a little bit more better, a little bit more mature and more sustainable in the long term.
I love it. Any H2 predictions for the second half now that we have kicked off the second half of the year? Crazy to think we're already in Q3. It literally felt like 2024 started yesterday, but here we are. As you get older, time flies. I remember the good old days when, the 2 months in between school and the summer literally felt like forever. And those are the 2 best months of the year all the time. And here it's, you wake up, you go to bed, boom, rinse, repeat, time flies. But H2, any predictions before we let you go, Matthijs?
Absolutely. So yeah, this morning I woke up crying when I saw the charts, and then I went to my feed on Twitter, and then I was screaming. And so what that means is that I'm really bullish on H2, like really, really bullish, because the sentiment is so bad. This can only go up. Like maybe we see another correction or 2 or 3, but end of H2 or rest of H2, I think is going to be amazing.
I hope, my friend. What a great episode. Really appreciate you coming on, and of course, open invite for round 2. And at the speed that you guys are moving and grooving on, I will definitely need to get you on. Before you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you personally and Nuklai online and on socials?
Yeah, best way to find this is on Nuklai website, which is nukl.ai. And on Twitter, we are Nuklai Data as our handle. And my Twitter handle is too hard to explain, but you will find this reference for sure in a lot of posts on the Nuklai Twitter feed. Yeah, welcome you there. And if you find us on Telegram, I will be happy to personally answer questions there as well.
And guys, Matthijs' Twitter is MatthijsDeVries. Matthijs de Vries. Super easy to find. Matthijs, thanks again, mates. Can't wait for round 2, and we'll see you on the next one.
Nice. Thanks so much, man.
Folks, what an episode with Matthijs de Vries, serial entrepreneur, and of course, CEO and founder of Nuklai. We touched absolutely everything: the future of decentralized data, crypto, and AI, why the current market sell-off, enterprise data sharing, insights, and of course, the problem with fragmented data. What a treat. And thanks again for Matthijs and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking to the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. As always, Eustace, you are the man. And back to the listeners, love you guys. Keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Go touch some grass while we're poor for a bit. We'll be rich again in no time. Love you all and talk soon. Ciao.